Good evening and welcome to DJ and TV, Disc Jockey, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJ and TV Insiders.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Welcome to DJ NTV and Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. Now introducing the one and only Ben Stowe.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
Hey, we are back for our not final show of the night, but second to the last show of the night, which is the slot for the one and only Ben Stowe, coming to you live from the NLFX headquarters, kind of.
Yeah, part two. You know, this is where we've been coming live from since July.
I gotta reboot camera.
While he reboots the camera, I guess I'll just tell a story. So, now, of course, like most of us, we're home. So this is now not only my home, but it's also my workplace. So
you're saying us doing this show on Tuesdays was a good thing because then you were able to set up your studio and have it ready to go.
Yeah, I think so. 2 days in working from home is not too bad. It's kind of cool. We got the kids here and they got, virtual school, and my wife's here with her office set up. It certainly has its downsides. I miss seeing my coworkers. I work with some tremendous people, some really awesome people, and, seeing them for, a little bit on Zoom just isn't really the same, but, we're making the most of it. And I think that's all anybody can do right now. I expect that as we are together longer, this will get, harder on those, I'm on the road so much.
Yeah.
So, we have a family dynamic that involves me being gone all the time. And right now I think we're enjoying me being home, but I think that's going to wear off. In fact, if you notice this already, the cat is getting tired of me being in the bed. So last night he just, like how cats can do that, just ever so casual, it wasn't like a violent action. It was just kind of I think I'll just stretch and then rip open your face,
As our running joke in the house is, the cats are just there waiting for us to die so they can eat us or something.
Yeah, pretty much. A friend of mine's a veterinarian, and she said that if your cat, your cat loves you, and there's no question, but cats are still cats. And of course, now that's all the rage right now with this Tiger King thing, but it kind of makes sense. Like that's the same kind of thing, right? If your cat could kill you, it would. Mm-hmm. It just, if your domestic short-haired cat just decided one day to get rid of you, and listen, if you got tigers or lions and that cat makes that decision, that's probably going to happen, So
and that's the sad reality of pets in the house.
Yeah, although a tiger would be pretty cool, I'm not going to lie.
That would be pretty neat. Yeah, we go with that. So let's talk podcasting. Say, hey, I hear people are doing this.
Oh my goodness! It was obviously a big thing before, and the term now has it's broader besides just podcast, but webcast and streaming, and they're really all kind of cousins. And of course, you and I have been doing this for 5 years, 6 years.
6 years. Yep.
Yeah, 6 years we've been doing this show, and it's a webcast, and the quality has gone up and down, and that sort of depends on where I'm at and what I'm doing, But then, when I think of a podcast, there's probably that's recorded and maybe a little more produced, and edited maybe, and then uploaded And I do enjoy, though, that we do our videos live. I like that. I like that there's some interaction with people, and it's still recorded, of course, for posterity. So, if if you're home and you have a little time on your hands right now, there is about, I think this actually makes our 200th show. So, well, you know what? Okay. Not that I've been bored.
But he has been watching each and every one of them.
Well, I counted anyway. And I guess it wouldn't necessarily be our 200th show, but if you go to the djntv.com/Ben Stowe link, I believe I counted that there are 199 videos there previously. So I don't know that this is our 200th show per se,
but we're really close.
It's right up there, because I think there are some other videos that aren't necessarily these shows that are in that page and whatever. The bottom line, if you're bored, you can go watch a lot of that stuff, and you can really, I guess you can see how poorly we've aged over the years.
Okay, so let's see if we go. We'll keep talking. I'm actually going to look and see.
All right.
On how many are on YouTube, and actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a step farther. Okay, so YouTube is showing 186, so we're not far. We're not far off.
Okay.
And that, again, there's going to be some videos that we have done shows and we dumped a couple of them because their audio was just, or something was so bad.
Right.
And then we've got some that just didn't make the playlist because we weren't using the naming process at one time.
Yeah, so we're real close to like 200 shows that you can go watch here. And in all of those, even though this is sort of a technology related show, again, we're relying on Zoom software and the other various things that are, Restream and whatever that you're using on your end. And all those things are going to have an effect, even though you and I are both using good microphones. We're both using EVR E320s. I'm using a pretty decent audio interface, which we'll talk about the specs of later. But that all is going to be compromised by the compressing this and sending it over the internet. So when I think about a podcast, using this same equipment, if I was to record it, and there's lots of different softwares you can use to record. I use Reaper, but there's tons of good ones. There's Audacity's free. There's Logic, GarageBand. The list is almost endless for different softwares you can use to record. You would probably achieve more audiophile quality audio. So I guess the moral of this story is, if you're a podcaster or a pro podcaster and you're concerned about the audio quality of this video on YouTube, you're missing the point.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be achieved, of course.
So our very first show that we did was March 19th of 2014.
Wow. So we just had our 6-year anniversary.
So
here.
yeah, we just passed, and that might have been actually. I see on that it's saying it's fixed because we must have had an audio delay or something on that. But for those of you who want to go back and see the first show that we did, I'm going to put it in first show. I'm going to put that link in there because it's amazing. Ben and I have not aged a bit. Not a bit.
Man, I'll tell you what. I just posted my picture of my wedding the other day because my anniversary was just the other day.
Saw that. It was fabulous.
Yeah, it was. And, I was looking at it was fabulous, and it's fabulous that she's still married to me. I think that's pretty awesome. But I was looking at the picture and I thought, oh my gosh, I look so old, so, and I think after these, last week was the longest year of my career. So I think after a few more months of this, I'm going to age some more, but.
Yeah. That was a few years ago. I'm looking at the video, watching the video. Hey, you didn't have the cool Darth Vader helmet over your shoulder, so.
No, you know what? I got to replace that with the coffee can. That's where the coffee can light went, and I took the light, of course, to your show to show it in the speech.
Got to bring it back.
And Darth Vader's just filling the hole. I got to get the coffee can back there, but of course, I haven't been to the office now in 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, it's been a few. Well, let's talk about some of the gear. You mentioned, of course, the microphone a little bit, and there's just so many options out there. For those of you who are watching a video, in the description there is a link, nlfxpro.com/podcasting. I believe ing at the end. Let me hang in.
I think so.
Yep, podcasting. Yeah. Yes, that will take you to a page where they've gone through and taken some of the more common podcasting pieces, many of which you are hearing us use on a weekly basis. They are there, and they have got some killer prices on things, as well as some cables and such that you guys have been talking about on the on Facebook pages and such.
Yeah, and we're shipping. Obviously that's nothing's at full tilt right now, but we're still trying to get stuff out the door. Obviously, we're giving highest priority to military, healthcare, broadcast, and telecom critical infrastructures, but we still have the resources to continue to ship and get things to you. So where we can do that safely, obviously we're concerned about keeping everybody on our team safe as well. So.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the challenges for that category on the website is there are so many things, and we just don't want it to be 1,000 items. So we're kind of trying to pick what we think are the greatest hits, so to speak. And, excuse me, that's there's new stuff coming out all the time. In fact, I just, here's something that's not on there that's pretty cool that I wasn't aware of and I just became aware of. So let me just see if I can share my screen real quick. This thing, it's called the Turret. And it's been out a couple of years, I guess, but it just wasn't on my radar. And you can see it's kind of an all-in-one. It's got a camera and a light and a mic and pop filter and everything. So anyway, and it's not very expensive. So that's one such option. It will probably be added to that category tomorrow.
I've not seen that either.
Yeah, it surprised me that it's been out for that long. So I thought, how did I miss that? But we carry like 300,000 items, and so there's always stuff we're gonna miss. There's so many different ways you can webcast, podcast, or stream too. Obviously what we're doing with video versus, like I said, an audio podcast recording versus like a DJ streaming. So, I've got a few pieces of gear here with me at home. Anybody surprised? I didn't think so.
Yeah, they were. I could hear Jaws hitting the floor. He's got gear at home.
Yeah. What? So we can certainly talk about that. Here's some kind of fun examples. The MVI series from Shure. You can see this as a lightning connector and it just plugs right into your phone. Mm-hmm. There's an app and you can download how wide the coverage is and sort of change it from do I want it to be kind of more of a wide coverage or more of a shotgunny kind of mic, or what am I doing with it? It's got some pretty cool little features in it, pretty inexpensive. Up to what I use, what we're talking on right now. Let me do another screen share real quick. Excuse me. What I'm on right now is the Studio 6.8, and that's my preamp interface right now that's going to you, and then my microphone is an EV RE320. But here you can see these Studio Series interfaces, and they're all basically the same preamps. You can see just that, they have more as you go up the line. So, for somebody, a 2.4 is probably adequate, or maybe the 2.6. This has 4 mic preamps, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and and so on and so forth up the food chain. Just depends on what you want to do. How many people are going to be in your podcast? What are you trying to accomplish with it?
Right.
But the advantage of using an interface like that. And here's another one here. This one is a step down from the Studio Series, but it's less than $100. So, It's got 2 preamps on it, and then you can see it's got some MIDI features and stuff too, but USB out. And by the way, my 6.8 C interface here is also controlling my studio monitors and my subs. So it's literally the hub for all things audio for my computer. But the advantage of an interface like this is it has mic pre's, and so I can use a mic that I want, like my RE320, which I don't know if I can get in the shot here. I'll just see. Maybe have to tilt the webcam.
Like that one?
Yeah.
I was going to say, we've got a few of them around because they are a good mic.
Well, yeah, so here's another one, just a spare hanging around, just in case. But, this is probably, this, and more importantly, its cousin, the RE20, are probably the number one broadcast mics in the world.
Right.
So that's why you see so many of them. And so, my point is that using an interface that's a couple $100, I have, I'm able to use a pro broadcast quality mic. And to me, that's important because I'm a nerd. But there are other ways to go about that, which I'll talk about. But I want to show you this too. If you're just getting started and you want literally like a system in a box,
Mm-hmm.
there it is. And as you can see, we have these in stock. This
Well, you
includes
did
a
until
mic.
you took it home.
Excuse me, we have more.
Okay.
So, this includes a mic and includes headphones and it includes the interface and even includes a mic cable. Now, is it an amazing mic? No. Are they amazing headphones? No. Is it an amazing interface? No, but they're all pretty good. They're all pretty good things. And it's certainly going to sound a bazillion times better than like your computer mic or something like that. So for less than $200, it's literally a complete system in a box. Even includes their Studio One software.
Nice.
Which actually has some really cool plugins. So there is some really cool plugins and things you can jump into that, and you're basically off to the races with all the capability you would need.
Now, Ben, will something like that give me a better sound quality out of that box compared to a computer USB microphone that you can go pick up at that they're very common out there? Yes. Is there going to be a difference between those two? And I've wondered that, but I've never tested it myself.
I'm going to say yes. And there is a notable difference, too, between that box and the box that I'm using. The preamps, the circuitry that takes the microphone signal and then preamplifies it, and then the ADDA conversions. We have to take that analog audio and convert it to digital. Those are just going to get better.
It's the ice cream man. He's delivering.
Those are just going to be better as the
ice cream.
What the heck is going on here?
All right, $5 for that.
$5 for what?
My mail. Don't you know? Have you
No,
ever gotten mail?
I've never been
I'm
charged.
taking this $5.
I've never been charged for my mail, but
All right.
ice cream bar. Do I need to sign?
Yes. First name print, surname print, cursive, and phone.
You're gonna get an X. That's what you're gonna get. Is an X. Oh my goodness.
Following my boss's orders.
I want to see your. I want to talk to the manager. Look at this. She's not even kidding. That's all on there. How do you even know what his surname is?
Last name?
Get out of here. Take your $5 and go. There. Thank you for the ice cream. Have a good day.
I need your first name, last name, cursive, and phone. Excuse me.
Making a mockery of the delivery system. UPS people will be offended. I'm
Sorry, Karen.
Oh, that's going to be used in a future show.
I'm dead. I'm done.
Oh, I love that child.
I can't. I'd like to speak to the manager of the coronavirus, because this thing needs to get over quick, because obviously we have been in the house too long together.
Boy,
I love
the
that
ratings
kid.
for next week's show should be going through the roof, waiting to see what.
If you ever wondered which kid is most like me, now you know. So. Record ice cream bar.
Yeah, I mean,
Cost me $5.
that's true. It did cost you $5, but
I'm pretty sure it cost me twice.
and my.
So I think we were discussing DAs and ADDA conversion and preamps, and yeah, the better preamp and look, the RE320 mic alone is 3 times the cost of a basic USB mic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be better. Will it matter? It depends, right? It matters to me. And partly just because, you can say what you want. Hi, Chris, I'm Karen, but
There is, you are a little on it.
I feel like I'm at a place in my career where I just want to use quality gear, even if nobody watching the show would notice, for me, I just want to use a better mic and a better preamp. But that said, check this thing out. This is another great option, and we sell a ton of these things because they're inexpensive and they don't sound bad. This is a side address microphone, so you're talking to the side, not the top.
Okay.
As you can see, it's got a USB connection on it. and it includes a little headphone jack on it and everything, a couple volume controls, and you basically you plug this thing in and you're recording. You now have that USB mic, and there are different variants of this. They have a dynamic. There are other brands, and we've noticed a substantial difference between brands. And I'm not going to call anybody out, but there's one brand that we've got a few on clearance because they just sound not good.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and we tell people that they're like, "Why are they on clearance?" Because they don't sound good.
They're not as good. Yeah.
You know, some people are like, "Yeah, but they're cheap." Great.
Mm-hmm.
Both happy. You bought it, and whatever.
Yeah. Yep. If you're inexpensive, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So microphones. We've talked about a variety of different microphones. It does a 58. You know, Howie just did a show and he was using the 58. Are handheld microphones going to be noticeably different? I mean, Howie sounded pretty good.
No, I don't think so, because, you know, a good quality microphone is going to work well. A 58 is designed to be held in your hand, though. Whereas these broadcast mics, you know, we saw that this one's on a boom arm, and the end of the boom is 3 feet away. So obviously I got a really nice K&M boom, and it holds it really steady and smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Got the 309, mount, probably same as you. Would you necessarily notice a difference? Hard to say. I still think a discerning user would notice a difference between a 58 and this. This has kind of more of a constant cue. 58's a little bit more prone to proximity effect, that sort of thing. But it's still a quality mic, So would you notice? It's hard to say. Now, the non-USB version of that AT2020, I think. I might be wrong. Maybe it was the 4040, but I think it was the AT2020 that Billie Eilish recorded some of her first stuff. Her brother recorded it using the non-USB version of that same mic. So,
Wow.
I think it was. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, there's shades of gray, right? So will you notice? Is it different? I have friends that are audio engineers, and I think I've got pretty good ears, but sometimes they point out things, or they hear things, or they talk about things, and I think they're just making it up because I don't hear it. I'm like, I'm like, so exactly how many drugs did you do in the 80s? Because I don't hear it.
I don't hear that anomaly that you say is so present and apparent.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get a note here from she is just like her daddy.
So much so.
Yeah.
So much so. When they talk about sugar and spice, she's the whole package. I wouldn't wish for anything different.
Yeah.
I'm getting gray hair because of her, but I wouldn't wish for anything different. And it's interesting how different my kids all are. My oldest daughter really is just mostly sugar, not a lot of spice, so to speak. She's just sweet and quiet and very intelligent. This one is very intelligent, very sweet, but also just it's her world, and you're just paying rent,
Yeah. And she gives me footage to use later.
Oh, so much, so many. So many footages, the bakery incident, whatever.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of stuff. So let's see. So we've kind of covered Mike's microphones a little bit. Let's kind of maybe jump into some of the things for capturing audio when it comes to those boards, because I think that's probably been the biggest thing that I've been getting calls on. People saying, how can I go from my DJ slippy slammy controller mixer typey thing to the internet world and sound decent?
Boy, and that is a slippery slope. There are solutions out there. Overwhelmingly, we find people are using what I would consider to be the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, the daily conversations I have, because I usually have people saying, I'm looking for this because my friend uses it. And in the other window, I've got somebody saying, I use this and it sounds terrible. And I'm like, yeah, because it's the wrong thing. Well, I got one person saying, well, but my friend has it. So I'm trying to sort of mediate. We sell a bunch of them. And the item that I'm talking about is called the iRig, but that's like saying Ford car. You know, IK Multimedia, which is their manufacturer, makes a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
They have a stereo device called the iRig Stream, which I would say is a good choice. And then they have the iRig 2, which I don't think is a great choice. It works, but ultimately it was designed to plug your guitar into your phone. It wasn't designed for DJ mixes. So
Okay.
that's the one where I have a lot of people saying, oh, I just can't get it to sound good, because it is a little bit harder to make it work in that way. But the other issue we run into is software related, where people are having trouble with the streaming software, and that's where the audio issues come in. So I deliberately didn't bring any of those things to kind of get into. We can pull them up on the web and look at them. But
Well, let's go back to the piece you do have there with your. Now those could be used to come out of your board and to run that signal, could they not?
absolutely, and in fact, that's what I would recommend is something like this if you're going to do it, because it does have mic and line level inputs. And the reason is twofold. One, it's going to sound better. But two, you're going to be able to use it for more things later.
Mm-hmm.
It's got mic preamps and things on board. I'm definitely recommending to people to get the 2.4 instead of the audio box. Yes, it's a little bit more money, but again, it sounds better. So if it matters, I would say just get the better interface. Now, that doesn't work though when people are saying, well, I want to stream from my phone or from my iPad. Presonus does have the i2, which will work on an iPad, but it doesn't work on a phone. So what we did is we designed a cable, and this was not something I wanted to do, to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
Another DJ who appears on one of your shows, whose name rhymes with Joe Bunn, said, "You got to make this cable."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know. And if you've ever tried to tell Joe no, you just know that doesn't work. So we went through so many iterations and variations, trying different resistors and different capacitors. And every time we felt like we had the eureka moment, we would try a different device, either a different DJ controller or a different phone or a different tablet. And we found that in different versions of iPhones over the years, and or different dongles, and really with different versions of Android, there's a lot of variation. So we were like, oh my goodness, you get something, so we tested this thing and tested this thing and tested this thing and tested this thing until we finally, kind of came up with a winner. And so here is a prototype of our cable we made. And the reason we did this, again, was because we had DJs asking for it, plain and simple. It's 6 feet long. It's an end-to-end solution. You plug into like the booth outs or the RCA master outs on your DJ controller, and you plug the other end into your phone or iPad's 3.5 millimeter jack. Needs to have a TRRS jack. You'll notice that has 4 rings. Frustratingly enough, there are actually 2 standards for TRRS. So we went with the most common and the most recent. But we can't just make this a direct connection for a couple reasons. One, it would be way too loud for the mic preamp inside that device. And two, interestingly enough, we found on most of the Apple devices, it didn't even recognize something was on the other end because it was such an impedance mismatch, I suppose. So I'm not going to give you a very long look at this because we spent days frustratingly on this. And and after we had it done and tested and all that, I still woke up on Sunday morning and I messaged Howie and I said, I had some of my best guys working on this, but I still just want to run this by you. What do you think? And so Howie and I played science fair on Sunday testing, and he tested, I was drawing schematics and sending them to him, and he's, we're working on resistor values. And anyway, so here you can see there actually is some circuitry inside there that we put in to make it actually work. And you know what? It sounds pretty good. So that's nice. What we were trying to do is provide a simple end-to-end solution. It's $39. If we sell enough of them, we may actually someday pay for the engineering time we put into if I had known it was going to take 3 days, I'd have just put my foot down and said, no, we're not making the damn thing. That's the end of it. But you don't really know until you get to the end of the road, right? And at some point, you're kind of a day and a half in, and you say, well, we've already got a day and a half in. We might as well keep going.
You got to finish it now, yeah.
Anyway, point being, you can plug it into the, an RCA output on your board, plug the other end into your phone or iPad, and you now can just send that audio right in. So that's what we wanted to do. Simple, easy. But I would still recommend a pro interface like the Studio 2.4, Studio 6.8. You know, that's a more utility device. You're going to be use it for a lot more things. That's if you have a computer available to you. Or IK Multimedia has some really cool little devices. The Duo Pro IO has 2 mic pre's and connects into the phone via Lightning, but it's also just about $200.
Okay.
So it depends, right?
Yeah, you're back up to the about in that same price world there.
Exactly. If you want pro gear, you got to pay a little bit of a pro price. So.
Excellent.
This also doesn't need batteries.
And that is one of the downfalls with the iRig world is, and I know some of the more recent ones have gone to bus powered, what have you, but
Yes, but you don't have bus power if you're using a TRRS.
yeah.
So
Yeah, we used one of the iRig ones to do one of our mobile shows, I think in Atlantic City a dozen years ago, whatever it was. And I think 40 minutes is all we got on the batteries. It's like, those are the expensive lithium batteries, 40 minutes. Doink.
yeah, they make a great product, you know, and again, use the ones that are designed for the job and they work better, of course. You know, here we are basically, and we did not make a direct box and put it inside the shell. We couldn't, I mean, just limitations. You can't put transformers and stuff in there, but that's basically what we're trying to do is how do you put a direct box inside an RCA shell?
Right, yeah. Yeah, you don't have much space at all.
No, and like I said, obviously we didn't accomplish that, but what we did accomplish was just a simple, low-cost, end-to-end solution. And I'll tell you why. You know, in all truth, I liked the request because I knew it was right. You know, I understood the intent for why the request was there, and right now, a lot of us are struggling with the fact that we can't go out and do the things we normally do. I honestly never thought I would miss unloading semis, you know, pushing, you know, gear. But I tell you what, if I don't get to push some faders pretty soon, I'm probably going to lose my mind, you know, and I can't set up a concert in my house. That's just not going to happen.
Not so much. No.
So I get why DJs want to do this, both for themselves. It's cathartic, and it's also great for the people around us. You know, they're struggling with this too. So we said, you know what, if we can make this cable and it gets people through a few weeks, that's worthwhile. It's a win. So we did.
Nice. Excellent. Let's see. On the podcasting page, there's, and I hadn't really thought about this too much, but let's talk about just a couple of minutes on lighting. You've got there's a 3-head light kit that from Roscoe that is there. We've done shows on lighting. We could dig into that. 2 things though, if you could give us just a little thought on some lighting I see flicker free and non, whatever that means for video. And then let's talk color temperature, best color temperature for video.
All right, game on. Well, so first of all, those Roscoe light pads, awesome. Those things are just awesome. And we love our friends at Roscoe, you know, and unfortunately they've been hit really hard, you know, by this downturn. They've had to lay off a lot of people. And so, you know, I know they'll bounce back. They've been around over 100 years. But I'll just tell you, they make fantastic stuff. They make theater products and that sort of thing. And their light pads are really a very pro quality solution. We've used them for a couple of our things. Actually, most of our videos that we shoot internally. And they have tunable color temp, which we'll get into in a minute what that means. They have adjustable intensity. They're lightweight and compact, and you know, they're not cheap, but they're affordable. So yeah, if you're looking for a pro lighting solution, you can't beat them. Lighting, you know, I have a small lighting rig in here because otherwise, we'll kill the lights here in a second, and when the relay fires down, you'll see that, you know, I don't look as good. I mean, I don't look good anyway, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Now you look dark and creepy instead of just creepy.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
But yeah, it's and of course I have decent lighting in this room, but otherwise you start to get kind of shadows in the eye sockets and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So now I'm just using an inexpensive webcam in here, but even with that, it makes a difference. So let's see, there we go. Where were we? Oh yeah, flicker free and color temp. So color temperature, in its physical definition, is defined by using a fictitious device called the black body radiator. Since it's fictional, it doesn't really help us. So we'll use the closest analog to that I can think of, and that's a chunk of iron. So if we take a chunk of iron and we start to heat it, as it begins to get hot, the first colors we're going to see on that iron are going to be red, and then maybe orange, and then yellow, right?
Okay.
So we think about red as being a warm color, but in reality, it's the coldest of the warm colors in the iron, because as that gets hotter, it gets away from red and it moves more towards blue. Another good example, the hottest flames are blue flames, right? So a higher color temperature is actually a bluer light. A lower color temperature is a oranger light. And an example that I like to use, which is getting harder to use as cars change, but some cars have kind of yellow headlights and some cars have kind of a bluish headlight. The yellower headlights are a lower color temp and the bluer ones are a higher color temp. And we measure these in kelvins. I was going to go into a little diatribe about Lord Kelvin, but I'll spare you. So anyway, I just can't help myself. And you want to get my nerd on. And so a warm halogen light, we might say, is about 3,000 kelvins. And in fact, if you go shopping for light bulbs, you'll see that on the box.
Yep.
And it'll say so many K. Maybe a really cool white is in the 6,000, 6,500 K, and so on and so forth. So that's color temp. Now, your question was which one is best? I think that's artistic. I think that really depends on a couple things. One would be the background and the other would be the subject. And admittedly, I'm not a video guy.
Sure.
But I do think that is a subjective thing. And I know that, you're going to want to try to use consistent color. And then when you white balance your camera, everything should kind of look like it fits. So flicker free, when we dim LEDs, what we're really doing is turning them on and off really fast. So, and we call that pulse width modulation. And essentially we're modulating the pulse and the width between the pulse, which is a really fancy way of saying how fast do you turn it on and off. And when we turn these lights on and off really, really, really fast, strobe them really, really fast, the human eye and the human brain just see that as dimmer light. We don't see that it's going on and off. We just see that it's dimmer. However, cameras are not really taking moving pictures. They're taking lots of still pictures and running them back in front of us. And just in the same way, our eye is deceived and our brain is deceived and says, hey, that's motion. No, it's not. It's just lots of still pictures. So what we have here is we have the frame rate of the video and how many pictures it's taking and the strobe rate of the light, and we can end up with a flicker that would appear. So what they've done is they've created algorithms that can, and some of these are even changeable. Some of the more pro lights, you can actually change the PWM, so that if you have cameras with, different, rates of taking pictures, right? Anyway, they've come up with algorithms that should not create the look of a flicker for that reason.
I did not know that. I guess I just assumed it was instead of the strobing of the LED super fast that we don't see or don't notice. I learned something tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking in the magnitude of thousands of times per second. So it's very fast. But again, it doesn't fool a camera, Yeah. And in fact, it's so funny because it's tragic. But my lighting DVD that we shot, 10, 11 years ago, after it was all shot, we realized that the lights behind me are strobing because of the PWM. So this was kind of, predating the ability to do much about that. And so there it is. It's a lesson within the video that's ironically never even talked about in the video. The rest of the video is still all right. You should still watch it.
It's just
I can't watch it because I just can't look at those lights strobe anymore. I just can't do it.
Everyone will know now. So,
well, that's all right because, like I said, it's another lesson that just doesn't get talked about in the video.
All right, we are just about out of time. Did we hit all the bases?
Yeah, I think so. Let's recap. If you want good audio, if you want great audio, good interface is where it starts. Good mic preamp, good ADDA conversion, and then a good mic. And one without the other doesn't do a ton of good. If you don't have a good mic, a good interface is still crippled by the bad mic. And if you have a great mic and a bad interface, well, same thing. It's kind of kneecapped in that way. But again, there's diminishing returns, and whether or not it matters to you is an individual choice. You may be super, super happy with something inexpensive, like a USB mic. It's a decent mic. It has a built-in preamp and AD converter. But there are also streaming options if you just want to stream your mixes. One of the questions a lot of DJs have asked me is, what about my microphone? Hey, once you put it into your controller, whatever comes out of your controller is going in a stream. So, put everything into the controller and just take that master out and send it to the stream, and your mic's going to be in there. And then there's some great, kits you can start and get off to the races. And that's probably one of the things I would say is all of these things are better than just a computer mic and a computer audio interface. So it's a great place to start. And if your podcast or your webcast gets popular, I mean, ours never did, but if theirs gets popular, then you can upgrade your gear if you want. So
we do have a couple of questions. What was that cord called again, and how can they order that?
Well, I think it is cleverly enough, and the final ones look a little bit nicer too with this prototype, but I think it's cleverly enough called the RCA to TRRS cord or cable.
That's incredible.
And, yeah, I mean, wait till you see the user's manual. It's about one paragraph that says stick in this end in here, stick that in there. Don't turn it up too loud, and you're good. It's about what it says.
It's pretty inspiring.
Because again, we rushed this thing out knowing that the lockdown was rapidly closing in, and it is on our website at nlfxpro.com. So RCA to TRRS, and you can get it at nlfxpro.com. We are hand building and testing these right here in the U.S. Our technicians, of course, can't come within 6 feet of each other, so it's a slower process than usual, but safety is paramount, obviously.
Let's see. We had one more question Dave threw out there and was wondering if you have been, as far as DJ gear later in the year, because of the China, they weren't producing things, and now with this, are you seeing that we might have a time down the road here in the next several months where gear might become difficult to get a hold of?
Absolutely. I'm more nervous about May and June for that reason than any other reason. That as we start to ramp back up for our busy time, there's already stuff that's just not in stock, and there have not been any boats on the water for months. So we're getting, updates from manufacturers saying, it could be 8 weeks, longer before we have this gear. So the good news is the factories are kind of back to work at China, but of course California is largely shut down. Containers aren't being unloaded as they would normally be. So yeah, and that's a really difficult thing to tell somebody, to say, I know you don't have a lot of gigs going on right now. I know you don't have a lot of money coming in right now, maybe from gigs. But if you're planning on gear upgrades, you really need to make those now. And I'm not saying that because it's my job to sell gear. I'm saying that, and you can quote me on this in a few months. History will judge me right or wrong, because what's going to happen is when the world kind of tries to get back to normal, everybody's going to grab for what's there. And, I don't know that it'll be quite on the magnitude of toilet paper, but it could be close. Yeah, we're definitely, I expect we are absolutely going to be out of certain things, if not many things.
Excellent. Good information. Gerald, thank you for grabbing the link. Gerald went and grabbed it, and I just shared it again. So it's going through all the chats out there on the different channels, so you guys can all grab that RCA to T.
Let me just say this, by the way. Mm-hmm. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we have plenty of, there is nothing more frustrating or exasperating for us than to have back orders. Believe me, we hate them worse than you. One, it makes our job harder. We have to work a lot harder. The simplest thing is we order it and we ship it and it's off to you and everybody's happy.
Right.
back orders create, liabilities in our books, and we have to spend a lot of time and energy following up with the manufacturer, time and energy following up with you, which of course we're happy to do. But nonetheless, just saying, look, we don't like them either. So I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope that we don't run into this kind of a backlog situation. And I know nobody really knows exactly when we're going to be back to normal, when life's going to get back to business as usual. But if you're thinking about some gear, it's not the worst time to get it. Mm-hmm. So, and we're trying to do some things to help people. We're, for qualified buyers, we have 24 months, 0% interest options, just to try to help. We're trying to find every way we can to smooth this out for people, to just try to mitigate the effect on our customers. Because, guys and gals, listen, let me tell you what, it's no different than you. Mm-hmm. If you don't have customers, you're not in business. Well, if we don't have customers, we're not in business either.
Exactly.
So believe me when I say you are the most important part of our equation.
And with that, we're going to wrap up the show for tonight. I didn't think we were going to go a full 50 minutes. I
actually got, you know what? The $5 deal wasn't so bad because it turned out to be a twofer. So
holy cats.
Yeah. Whoa. And it was even look at this, well packed.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So
except of course, our all of our UPS viewers and FedEx viewers and Speedy, they're all going to be offended because you didn't sign the paperwork properly.
You know what? I've got some really good friends that are delivery drivers. And one's even a DJ. Well, actually more than one's even a DJ. But they could take it up with me when we get back together to show again. So, just give us something to chew each other about when we see each other.
Sounds great. Hey gang, we'll be back in about 10 minutes here. Brian and Jay are going to be coming in. We're going to talk a little bit about handling those intoxicated guests with a shorter show tonight, because then everyone can head to the chill room, which is out at djntv.com/chill. If you want to jump out there and get your seat ready to go, they'll be there in a half an hour, but we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.